So welcome to the Fireside Chat, Living in the Liminal with Juna and Sabina from Synergy in Motion, where the tea is always hot and the inspiration flows.
So we chose the theme of living in the liminal because so many people at the moment have that sense of it's not quite here yet. What do I do? The old doesn't work anymore, and their bodies are really struggling. And nothing really works. So I'm assuming you guys can relate as you're here. And the liminal is actually a very, very powerful time. In the old days, it was actually used to enter the realms of magic. So when you, particularly in Europe, when you travel, you see a lot of sacred sites and now also a lot of crosses on crossroads and intersections, right? So where one road splits into two, and the crosses are actually usually on old sacred sites, and they sealed them off. So they used to have this space of worship in those spaces. And when you look at the use of mirrors, again, right, it's not quite here and it's not there. It's that moment of where one reflects the other. It's like neither here nor there. Or the tour in Glastonbury, right, where the earth kisses the sky, sacred space, where you can enter the magical.
And didn't you say something about like the Christian cross was there to almost like seal off the pagan knowing of the liminal energies and that crossroad space?
Yeah, at church, same with churches. And when you work with the realm of the fairies, you also use often rivers, or when the earth tips over and then there's pieces of broken out and you see the earth inside. So there's like this brink, and sometimes you can almost see that you can enter another world there. Can you guys relate to that? Do you remember? Have you seen those? And it's like as a kid you would go there and play. Yeah, and play in the liminal. And children don't have too much attachment to the past, so it's way easier for them to actually play in that realm and not be scared of. So in the old days, it was more like that physical space that's happening. But right now, what's happening is that we are almost as a humankind in that liminal space, or a lot of people are ready to really embrace a different reality. We're coming from a time of or, right? From either or, right or wrong.
It's the field of separation and duality that creates the either or. Like you have this choice or this choice. You don't really live in the and, but the liminal is the space of the and. Mm-hmm. There is no either or, this or that. There is the and the now.
So we finally have the time where we can have our cake and we can eat it. Right? So the challenge is that, again, in the old days when you were in the liminal as an initiation, you kind of knew that you were in an initiation. But nowadays we didn't have the training, nor do we have a lot of us don't have the awareness that it is moving into a new space. So what are we doing? It hit us over the head, and it's like, now what? And what is required in those times is to really let go of the old and almost fall into your life with all your capacities and all your knowing, total trust, and then utilizing those to welcome the new.
Okay. That is a beautiful, I've just, has anybody read the book Braiding Sweetgrass? It's a beautiful book, and in the beginning it's a story of Sky Woman, and it talks about Sky Woman falls through the hole in the sky, and it's like this falling, and she can't, once she falls through the hole in the sky, she leaves behind her family and everything she knows, and then she begins this new life on Turtle Island. So it's a story of the indigenous people mixed with science, botany. It's a beautiful story, braiding sweetgrass, if that's just a little aside, but this beautiful sense of falling. And there's, many of us don't like that feeling, right? Going to the edge. Do I leap? It's always this feeling of, I need to leap, but I want to know what's on the other side before I leap.
Mm-hmm. And what I find very interesting is like, you guys are so incredibly brave. It's like, okay, I'm ready. Like, wow, here I am, right? Ready to jump off the cliff. If you have seen the video that we sent in the last email. Yet, somehow the willingness to totally trust yourself and honor yourself is somehow left behind. And that creates an incredible struggle. Because you're ready to fly, but you kind of don't turn your motor on. Right? Does that make sense to you?
And if you want to speak, you can just unmute yourself.
Yeah. Or have questions. We're just like, ooh, running here.
Okay.
Yeah. Good. Okay. So in the times of the liminal, it is important. This is the challenge of it, because it is important to let go of all the old stuff, yet to totally, utterly trust you, who you are. And how many of you have the sense that you can't really trust yourself because you will fail, you will hurt somebody, you have no idea how to move forward, you have 1,000 thoughts on what could happen, or feelings?
Yep.
Yeah? Can you relate to that? So
yes. No.
So with that, it is very, very challenging and very taxing on your body to actually be on that edge of the liminal, on the edge of the cliff. Because you're just like, you're ready there, you're in that space, yet you're not utilizing you fully. Okay? Perfect. Anything to add there?
Oh, there was something that just went, and I'll get it.
Okay. So how does that sound to you? What does that stimulate in you? Very quiet group.
Just pretend you're an extrovert for the moment. Margie, do you have anything to say?
Well, it stimulates a lot in me. I think it's where we as society are finding ourselves right now. And the pull, we are pulled by possibility. And maybe we're pushed by possibility and pulled by pain. I don't know, but we're betwixt and between. And many of us feel we cannot but jump regardless of what's going to happen, because being pushed by the pain of the dysfunction of our society right now is driving us crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah.
And you're absolutely, that's what I meant. It's like, we're not just individuals that go through this initiation. There's a whole group of people that are ready, that actually already have jumped. We already put our hand up and said, okay, I'm done with the or reality. I'm ready for the end. And then the whole thing goes into motion.
And that's why we created this. That's why we gathered you all here tonight, to see that you're not alone, because sometimes it feels like a very alone journey, that you're the only one, or you and your best friend are the only one who feels this. But this is a human journey for all of us, and we are at this time together. So coming together, we each know a piece of something. We each have some wisdom, we have some knowing, and it might not be cognitive. It may be deeply visceral within the bones. And just by gathering here tonight, and you don't even have to utter a word. It's the power of this group that is saying, yeah, I have jumped, I have leaped, I am leaping and leaping and leaping and leaping. And now what? It's now what? And we're here tonight, not with answers, but more questions, actually. So
some insights, but no answers. Yeah. And Sonia, I'm oops, unmuting you. Where are you? Sorry. Here she is. Okay, perfect.
Yes, I can completely relate to what you're saying, and I know for me, it's like it scares the hell out of me to, like, I don't want to be living the life I'm living right now. I can't stand it, but at the same time, I have no clue what is there, and I have so much self-doubt that creeps in that it's almost like, oh, but you know, oh, what if I do this, what's going to happen? And then I kind of go and hide under a rock instead. Just, so, but it's that real push-pull thing. It's really driving me insane, and it's like, you know, I've got to the stage where it's like when this group came up, I thought, oh, yes, please. Because it kind of doesn't feel so daunting, I guess, like if there's more than just me doing this, or like it's, you know, it's, oh my God, it's not just me, you know, it's, yeah.
It is not even just you, it's the whole planet is shifting, which adds a whole other element to that.
I never realized that, like, that it's actually happening everywhere. I didn't actually realize that. I thought, oh, it's just me going to somewhere, I don't know where, but I didn't realize it's all happening everywhere. So yeah, it kind of
Welcome to Liminal.
Thank you. So grateful for you.
yeah, and I mean, a question that I've been wondering about is, like, what if the liminal is the new, like living in this space of not knowing. Like, what if this is it for a while, or maybe this is how we're living in this sort of disorienting, you know, not really perceiving a clear direction in anywhere, or perceiving it and then it shifts again. So,
and Sonia, thank you for that. One of the biggest challenge in this initiation, in any of them actually, is that we have been in the last 1,000 years been so entrained to assume that our cognitive mind is the only source of awareness and the source for any choice or decision. The mind is not built to make choices or decisions. And because we have been using it in that way, the element of judgment really went rampant. So self-doubt is what?
Yes, a huge judgment on yourself and what you've taken on from everyone else all your life. Because I think it all does stem from just everyone having judged me as a child. Like, I never had a voice because anything I said would get shut down so quick. So now it's like everything I do or say or whatever, I second guess myself every time. It's almost like, I don't know, having their voices in my head.
And what you're doing with that is, like, you have this nail that you would like to knock into the wall, and you're taking the screwdriver and you're going
yes.
Right?
Yeah.
It's the wrong tool, but we have never learned how to use our full awareness, not just the cognitive. And that's what I meant with falling into ourselves, falling out of ourselves, being ourselves.
Yeah.
Right? Falling in and then really letting that old go. And I find Sonia that, what was I going to say? When it's like the worst it's ever been, almost. Like, have the rest of you feel that too? It's like, it's just so bizarre. And I wonder if those things getting escalated means they're ready to pop, like a zit. You know how it's like it fills and fills and fills, and then it's just gonna just go.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder.
And I don't think it will go. I think it's more like that moment when you actually allow yourself to trust yourself.
Yeah.
To recognize you're trying to knock in a nail into the wall with a screwdriver. Will you get there at some point? Maybe, depending on the size of the nail, and if it's wood, maybe not into a rock wall, right? So, and our whole awareness, our non-cognitive awareness, which cannot be accessed with that thing between your ears, but can only be accessed with your being. And to be able to do that, it is so important to take care of our bodies so that we can allow that space. We see a lot of bodies really, really struggling with that space, like getting sick. And the weirdest symptoms is like I just had today somebody who said, I went to doctor and they said everything is fine. And
he's not fine.
I've been getting a lot of that.
Yeah. So,
yeah, I mean, I don't know where you want to go. Like, just one of the tools is to be totally present with your body. Use whatever you can to really, even right now, just connect with your feet, feel your stomach. Just notice in your body what is responding to this conversation. Even like, are you getting excited? Where is that in your body? Where might there be a sense of relief? Where do you perceive that in your physicality? And connecting to your body is crucial. Movements, breath, meditative practices, good food, all of those things.
Mm-hmm. And again, how many of you in this lifetime have thought, the body is way too heavy, it's way too slow, it is way too whatever.
Cumbersome.
Yeah. And that is a seal almost, like that doesn't allow you to access the beauty of the body and allows the body to show up. What if we are moving from a body of matter into a body of energy?
Like an energy body is what you're saying, a light energy body.
And for us to do that with greater ease, we do need to nurture what we have and also connect with it, right? So would you all be willing to just go, yum, even a little bit? It's like, okay. It's a big tool.
Well, and your body is your vehicle that is, viscerally experiencing the liminal. So everything you can do to give it some, to allow the energy, to allow it good rest, touch, all of the things that bodies love, is really crucial during this time of liminal living.
Mike and Judy, you can let me unmute you.
You're unmuted.
Hi. Hi, can you hear us?
Yep.
Okay. It's interesting. You talked a lot about the old passing away. Like for Mike and I, like everything is gone. Our jobs are gone. Our family is gone. Our friends are gone. Everything. And we're sitting here, the two of us, alone. And it's been that way for ages now. And we are trying to begin the creative process of something new, but it's almost like our creative capacities are gone. It's very strange. And as you say, it's been really hard on our bodies. It's almost like being, a car when you put the brakes on and the back wheels are spinning like crazy, but you're not moving.
So first of all, can you acknowledge that even though you might think that you're not creating, that you are actually creating? it just doesn't look like as you expected it to?
Yeah, possibly.
We changed our business dynamically in the beginning of the year. We have created so much fantastic, great stuff. We have written classes. We have created online products. And what we did at the end of the day is delete. We literally said, this is not what we really want to do. And we're coming to a space where we say real time, real people, because that's where the magic unfolds for us. But that doesn't have a plan, right?
All we really knew, what we got really clear on, is this whole living in the liminal, which we've been living in, and connecting with bodies, the earth, and the magic that we are. And this is it. This is what came out of that, getting more clarity with it and creating. So this is what we have to offer in this moment, and this is all we have.
Wow.
And we don't know where it's going to go.
And congratulations to you for being brave to be in that space for ages.
Yeah. we hear you.
There's no choice, really.
There is. You could
make something up. You could get another job. You could do stuff.
Yeah. And remember, only, if you're lucky, 7 to 10% of us creating, not even, that's way too much. Well, for the illusion of it, 1% goes through the mind and to the cognitive awareness. Yeah. What if this time is about really starting to explore that which you are not cognitively aware of, but allowing yourself to relax into that and see how it unfolds? So what I suggest is take one thing, like wake up in the morning, say, okay, one thing that I would like to contribute to unfold today. Okay. That can be doing the dishes finally. That can be walking the dogs. That can be whatever is present for you in that moment. And then don't do it from here, but allow everything around you to contribute to that unfolding. Which is another point that we found. It's like, if you're trying to do this by yourself, particularly Sonia, right? Because you're the only one. It is very hard. In the time of the end, we can only do it together. And that doesn't just mean us together in physical bodies, but the whole creation. Yeah. Even if the two of you sit there and it's like, oh, what do we create and what do we do? And it's up to you two, right? It is going to be equally as hard as when you don't allow your motor to run by not trusting yourself and utilizing your awareness. Okay. So there's a little tool exercise of really allowing yourself, train yourself, even if it's just one thing a day, to relax and fall into that communion with everything there is. Because the whole world is out there. There's so many energies that are ready to contribute to us if we allow it. Okay?
And it's not to be understood with your mind. If you're a mind person and need to figure everything out and have it be black and white, you're being called to something very different. Mm-hmm. If this has been going for ages, it's just a different calling, mm-hmm, to a different way of being.
What I often actually do to get around my mind, because it's very fast and very strong, is I relax my spine. So right now, perceive your spine and allow it to relax. And even the space between your spine, between the vertebrae, just and then allow your wings to just start growing and expanding. Allow yourself then be lifted up by the wind and carried. How's that?
Anything else? Okay.
Cool.
Is there someone else trying to say something?
I don't know. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Do we need to look at our notes?
No. Yeah, we do have notes, right? One thing that I also noticed, and also thank you for all of you who contributed with your questions that gave us a good sense for what are you looking for. That's where I was going to go. When there is something not working in your life, and how many of you have these issues where you have something that just is not working? Your money situation, your situation with your kids, your situation with work, with your body, and it's just not changing.
Yeah, not changing is the key.
Right? It's not changing.
You've tried and tried and tried from all the different angles. It's just not.
Right? Okay. It's like your little pit bull holding onto it going, and it's not changing. It's like, no matter how you shake it, it's not changing. Okay. Those areas are big anchors in the old, in the ore. Because what people usually try to do is they try to find a one thing solution. Okay, if I only find the right coach, if I only find the right diet, if I only find the right blah, 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 read the right book. Okay, can you relate to that?
The one solution that fixes all.
In the time of the end, there is no one solution. And I mean, both of us working with bodies a lot, it's like I see a lot of people that think, oh, if they find the right thing, then it will be fixed. And they're focusing on either supplements or medicine or other things, and they're looking for that one thing. What if it is a creation? What if it is way more like a web? Okay. Also in business, when you're creating a business, what if it's more a creation of a web where you picking up a cup of tea and having a zip of cup of tea actually changes something. It's like the butterfly effect. Okay, but you can't do that cognitively. You need to be in communion for you to really be able to flow that way. So look at the areas where you're stuck and you're so focused on trying to solve that area of money or whatever else there is. And a lot of questions or comments were around like usually one or two subjects where it's just like, it's not changing. I'm ready to let it go. But it's like, when your jaw is locked into it, you're not going to let it go. You get that? Get that energy? So right now, think of that area and just let it go for a moment. What would it be like for that to be totally irrelevant?
How much time and energy do you put into it, and how much more time and energy would be freed up if you could really let that go?
And what if you didn't have to find a solution for it?
That's living in the liminal. There's no solution and there's no problem.
Mm-hmm.
So how many do you think you came here because you have a problem? Yeah.
Juna?
Yes. Hi.
This is Barb. I just wanted to say that when I first signed up for this class, yeah, I was really stuck like that. And then it was like nobody showing up for my classes and all of that. And I was just feeling like, oh my God, what am I doing wrong? Went into that wrongness of me. And then it was like, I finally figured out that it wasn't maybe it was because there was a different possibility. And then I was trying to figure out, okay, so what classes do I want to take so that I can become a facilitator for, talk to the entities or X-Men or whatever. And so I was like making it so linear and so significant that I wasn't really paying attention to what was fun. And then I just happened across a class that came through the email. My body lit up like none have lit me up. And I realized, oh my God, I am just like trying to control all of this and make it so significant and, just lock it all up. And this is how it has to look. And this is how everybody else does it. And what if that's not me? What if I'm making it too small? What if I need to make it bigger and just not worry about what it looks like or what it feels like? I mean, it's just like, so I let all that go, and this was about 4 days ago, I guess. And in the last 2 days, it's like unbelievable how many people have called and scheduled sessions, and it's like everything is just all of a sudden happening. And the coolest thing is that I just feel this lightness. It's like I'm out of definition, and I just feel like I'm just blurry. But it is so peaceful, and it's just so much fun. But it took me finally saying, okay, so it doesn't matter. It just simply doesn't matter if anyone shows up for my classes. What matters is that I'm the energy that's going to be fun for me. And whatever happens along the way, whatever can light me up like that, then I know that that's a yes. And I know that's maybe the next direction, but I don't know where it's going to take me. I have no idea about it, and I really don't care. What I've caught is that wave, and I'm just going to go with that. And it's so different than everything that I've been doing. And so I totally get what you guys are talking about. And I just
congratulations.
Yes.
That's
Wonderful.
Yeah. And this is also something that I find myself always, and this is why it's so important to just let go every morning and every evening who you are, who you have defined yourself as. So, what example do I use? It's like, in my life, where have I defined myself? That one of the biggest definitions I have of myself that messes me up a big time is that I still think I have to work to create money. Right? I have to run a business. I have to have a job, yada, yada, yada. I can't just have money. That's almost like, say what? My whole body loves that energy of just having money. But this one is just like, what? It's not, it has to have a reason and justification for it to actually be present in my bank account. Okay. And I see a lot of people who, particularly when they take trainings in a modality, they think they have to take classes and then run classes. But what if that is not really the thing? What if it's applying the tools in planting roses? Or who knows, becoming a monk on the mountaintop and just being all of those things, right? So every definition is again an or, because you're eliminating the and. Okay.
True.
So thank you for that. I almost forgot that part.
And I just wanted to mention, with the energy that Barbara's being, and if you feel like, oh, I can't be that, I don't have that, and let down your barriers and open up and say, can I have some of this? Who can I be to have this too? Because this is also who each and every one of us are, right? She's expressing this energy. And if we believe that we are not that, then we create that. So it's really going into the and. Yes, I am in the liminal of maybe not knowing what I'm going to do for a job, but hey, I don't really care. I'm just happy, and following what's light for you.
And that space is so important, that you perceive yourself as an and. You're not an or. you are an and. You can be with great ease be in communion, and it doesn't mean that you have to meditate for hours. It just is that choice of letting your barriers down, and it's like, and it doesn't mean that you have to perceive entities and beings, and it doesn't show up most of the time. It doesn't show up in 3D and multicolor and Dolby surround sound. That's what a lot of people wait for when they hear that word of communion. They wait for the symphony to play, right? The bells and the whistles. Often it is a whisper of the wind. It's a gentle touch. It's a very, very fleeting moment. Sometimes it is the bells and the whistles, but most of the time it comes very gentle. And we're all so unique. It's funny, we're just watching a series where different experts give advice on something, and it is very interesting how everybody assumes that their way works for everybody. You just have to. It is not really acknowledging how different we all are, and that's the gift that we have in this new time. We are diverse, and each and everyone has a unique aspect, gift to contribute. Like in this talk, right, Barbara, what you just said, it's like, oh yeah, of course, right, cool. And if we don't acknowledge that, we're trying to conform to the one thing, and that won't work. So look at how much in the struggle that you're having, you're trying again to conform and find that one thing or be that one thing. What if it was be everything? And also allow everyone to be everything. And that I see is going to be a bit more of a challenge in the near future, because people make different choices that you might not understand why they choose it, right? So if somebody chooses to live their limitation and their suffering, there is nothing you can do other than embrace and celebrate it.
So it's being your diversity and allowing others to be theirs on their path. And like now more than ever, in the past, we had these communities that created this conformity. And I believe that this is just my thoughts. I believe that we're in this time of really celebrating our uniqueness, our diversity, what makes each and every one of us different. And yet we're connected, but we need this differentiation somehow. And this is my own experience and my own pondering this whole thing. But when you start to acknowledge the difference that you are and really let go of conforming, be willing to let your family go, be willing to let all of your ideas and definitions go, to find the gold within. Like, who am I really? What is important to me? How do I want to live? And then be living that. You will find that lightness, and that the flow will start. And I don't care where you start. Start with your body. Start with breathing. Start with something that's just right there, and something that is working in your life, and then ask it to expand and infiltrate all of your life. So we are communal, we are connected, we are in this oneness, and yet we are incredibly diverse. And now is the time to celebrate, get to know that diversity, because that is the gift that only you have. Only you have, whatever it is, this special brand of you and this piece of knowing that no one else has. And we all need it now to have it come out somehow.
And it's not only your special gift and what you can contribute, it is also your way, right?
Yeah.
It's like we all, like, what entertains me is like we all say, okay, or a lot of people say, don't eat wheat, don't eat dairy, stay away from the sugar, yada, yada, yada. But what if your diet was eat in stillness, eat moving, eat while you talk with somebody, eat with your eyes closed,
Eat when you're alone.
right? That's something we're totally eliminating from the possibility by deciding and looking for the one solution. So where in that situation where you're feeling like, oh, you're stuck in the liminal and you don't quite know, are you doing that? Were you looking for the dairy, wheat, and what you're allergic to, instead of actually tuning in? It's like, okay, how would I actually like to eat? What way of eating nurtures me? And I'm just using food because it's an easy example, but same with business. How does running a business work for you? And you can apply it to many, many different areas.
Or your life's work, if it's not a business, or what's your purpose? What are you here to do on the planet at this time?
How do you have fun? Are you having fun yet?
Oh, that might be a clue if something is working, if you're having fun.
Exactly. And really try, let go of squeezing yourself into those roles that you have defined, like I need to be a facilitator, I need to help people by talking. You just being you changes the world. Somebody said that.
And it actually does more now than ever. Mm-hmm. It's as corny as it sounds. You really being fully you will change things. It will change you. And then that will shift and change things around you. Any questions? We've been talking a lot. The fire, because it got, here it is. The fires. Look at this remote.
I never thought I would like gas fireplaces, but they grow on me. Even though it would be nice to have a real one here. So any questions, any ponderings, what does that trigger in you? Sonia?
One question I do have is when you have children, because one of the things, like I like to sort of do all the the living for me type thing, but at the same time I have my commitment to my children, and I feel responsible for them and all the stuff that goes along with that. So
do you like your children?
Yeah, I do.
Do you like your children?
Not always, but I do most of the time, but sometimes not.
So perceive that, is there a joy when you're with them?
Yeah.
So is that actually for you because you actually like it?
It's not just that. I have joy times with them, but then there's other times where I just don't want to deal with them, don't want to adult today, just leave me alone, go away.
Duct tape helps.
It's the sort of, I'm just going to go to the shops and buy more milk or something, and run. It's like, and leave them at home to go do so. Because it's like, I feel like that for me, well, one thing for me that I guess, coming to think of it's probably a decision I made, is that that it's my job to get them to adulthood in the best way I possibly can. So
how does that, is that making you does that make your heart laugh when you say it's my job?
No, that part feels quite heavy. That's why I said it's probably a decision I made, and I don't really like that one. But yeah, it's. So, I guess maybe I haven't seen it as a choice or something. I don't know.
So there's something that you said at the beginning, and that was like living for me. And then you said, like, I want to live for me, but I have these children. So would you be willing to look at what living for you is? And does it include your children?
That one's a scary one.
Like when you decided to have kids or keep the kids or whatever, is that part of it or not? And just get really clear on what that is.
I do know that they're very challenging because I think they're rather aware kids, and when the three of them start having their World War III, it drives me insane. But at the same time, I guess I know that as they become adults, they're not going to be pushovers either. which kind of makes me very proud of them. But as a parent, it's like, oh my gosh, and this has been since I was like little, and I do miss them when they're not around as well. I couldn't imagine my life without them. I have had opportunities in the past where it was very challenging, and at one stage as a single parent, and I at times had thought of, okay, is this a choice for me? But the thought of that that teared me to shreds. I just thought, no, I can't. I need them with me. I can't do that.
And that's I can see that in you, that there is actually a great joy. So would you be so daring to actually live from that joy with your kids, and let that joy actually carry you through those difficult times, instead of going and just seeing and I have to live myself, and then that becomes a little monster in your head, when what really is going on, there are challenging times. Hey, I have challenging times with me. I don't even have kids, so it's just like I'm enough to have challenges. Right? That's and having kids is can be such a contribution if you allow yourself to actually dive into that joy of that, and then let them go. You're not the source, right? You're not the source for them to be grown-ups. They might be very different from what you want them to be.
Yeah.
What I said earlier, it's like that's an art, to be totally an allowance of what somebody else chooses, even if it's your kid, particularly if it's your kid.
And there's a point as a parent where you do what you do, and then they just go and they do what they do. There's this shift that happens somewhere in parenting. I've raised 2 kids, and there's that shift of that weighing responsibility to, wow, look at this, their lives are unfolding, and they have a trajectory that is nothing to do with me. And you just sit there as a parent and watch it unfold, and it's like, oh my goodness, this is incredible. And so it has something to do with you, but not everything to do with you, these kids of yours.
Yeah.
And you can apply that to kids, you can apply that to anything, right? Because every creation has that life of its own.
And those commitments, like some of it, like we've started a business that's like a kid, ours is a 14-year-old brat right now, right? Demanding different things from us. So it's, the things that you started creating, and we were excited about at one point, and then it becomes like, oh my God, I created a monster. It's, look what I created, but I'm not the sole source for it. I can contribute to these kids. We can contribute to our business, but so can other people. And they have their own entity, their own energy that has their own path.
And that's communion, allowing everything to contribute to everything. And not
thank you.
To run this from here.
Yes. The way you've been trained from parents before.
Yeah.
Remember that screwdriver?
Yes.
Doesn't work.
No.
And it is that it's not even a relearning, because we're moving from the doing into being. And with being, there is so much more available than our cognitive awareness. Okay?
Yeah.
And it is not about just like programming your mind to see things in a different way. Okay? When there's a difficulty, don't pretend it's roses when it's actually a pile of poo. Okay?
Yeah.
But the pile of poo might be not quite as stinky when you clean it up with that joy. But don't pretend that it's not a pile of poo, that it's not challenging to have 3 raving lunatics running through your apartment or your house and creating havoc. That sucks.
Yeah.
Don't pretend, oh yeah, I chose this. It's like, oh good. Oh.
And more like, ah!
Exactly. And let them know what's going on. They are of a new generation. Truly, they have an understanding. They're standing on the shoulders of giants, which is you. Right? So they can go way further into places. So let them know, let them be part of that process as well.
Yeah.
And let them contribute to you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, that counts for everything. That's for your businesses, for your ideas, for your projects.
Relationships, other relationships in your life.
And I know there are a lot of people here that are rather loving the idea of the magic that is now possible. That's the same thing, right? When you allow everything to contribute to you, it unfolds as if by magic. Magic is only that which we can't define. Like for somebody 2,000 years ago, you come with a lighter, that would be magic. They would totally freak out. It's like, whoa, what's that? But again, it's from trying to function from this thing to surrendering to the 100% of you. But what you have to do is trust yourself. Allow yourself to tap into your capacities without having to define them. Oh, I can fly. I can.
Yeah, that's really important is and if you don't know what your capacities are, just ask, what are my capacities? And just start to get the awareness of what your body is showing you. And it may take a while. It may take years. It may take months. It may be such an energetic capacity that there are no words for it.
Good point. Thank you.
Yeah. And you know, this reality wants you to articulate everything and give words to it. And there's not always words.
True.
Yeah. So does this help you guys? Is this going in the direction that contributes to you?
Yes, very much so. Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you for your questions and contribution as well.
And you other guys, I'm going to switch into gallery view so I see you. So is there stuff that you, hey Rebecca, anything else you would like us to address that you feel like, okay,
we didn't talk about or we didn't go over?
I love this gallery view, so I see more of you, Dee and Tom. And yeah, Margie, go.
Yeah, I just want to add to what you're saying, and especially to that woman who has, Sonia, who has children. I've had 6. And yet I learned a long time ago that if I don't care for my own needs, I'm going to be resentful or whatever. And so recently I've taken up an art career and I'm painting the images within. And I went this summer to a cottage. And I'll just show you this image because it's behind me here on the wall. I don't know if you'll see it. But anyway, I went to a cottage and this bald eagle was at this cottage. And it flew over. And so I came out of my boat and I noticed what I noticed. And I said to the owner, she says, I've never seen a bald eagle in my life here. So number one, I noticed the bald eagle. That morning, the dawn woke me up out of my bed and I had to crawl over my bed. And one of my sons handed me a coffee and said, Mom, isn't this magical? In a linear fashion for years, I have looked up cottages. I have figured out how much it would cost to buy one. And I've always known I could never afford it. After I had my 2 youngest were married this summer and we went to this cottage. I'm sitting in this cottage and I know I am in a magical place. Then the owner offers the most ridiculous price for this cottage. It's lower than any cottage I've ever seen. And I'm still hesitating because I'm thinking, what am I doing at 65 years of age buying a cottage? This is ridiculous. This is my head. But I'd seen the bald eagle. I'd seen the dawn. And just on that dawn alone, I knew the eagle was rising within my heart. And so she named the price. And so my one son said, I can afford so much. My other son who was with me said he could afford so much and I could afford so much. So the three of us decided we were going to buy this cottage for this ridiculous low price. And then the man who was selling the cottage said, I don't want to tell you how to do business, but you know, you could always counter offer. I thought, who does this? Who does this? And so really and truly, it was the magic that you're talking about. If we really pay attention to the out of ordinary, whatever that is. For me, it was the dawn breaking in my heart. I'd been through the marriage of my two youngest and the suicide of my nephew. I was exhausted when I went to that cottage. And all of a sudden, I knew a dawn broke in my heart that I couldn't deny. It was so powerful. And so we bought a cottage. And
congratulations. Yeah.
And that's the kind of thing I think you're talking about, whether it's a cottage or whether it's Sonia, you finding new life in your parenting where you're giving to yourself, then you have extra now to give to your kids. My kids remember the day I used to have a sign on my kitchen. It was, I am third. That meant God was first. My neighbor was second. I am third. When I woke up at 40 and realized that sign wasn't really serving me, I ripped it up. And now I know I have to feed myself and others get fed in the process. And I think
and see, even that, like that's very beautiful. And sometimes there's the threesome, sometimes like really not hooking into any of those rules.
I know.
Right?
Yeah.
Just flowing by the moment and really honoring of who you are and knowing that nobody is like you. So when there is somebody that is struggling, knowing that they have the possibilities to move through that and ask, can I contribute? Yes, no, and then move on, right? Like you giving that space to your family is like beautiful.
And for me, it was hard because I have 6 children. So I would have preferred to have bought the cottage with all 6. It just so happened 2 could afford it, but the 2 who could afford it are the most generous of people. And so that cottage will be for everyone. It just so happened they had the money. And yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, well done. Cool. Any other questions? We're coming up to the hour. Questions, comments, ponderings, wanderings.
And we did read all of your questions and we kind of brought them in together. So if we didn't say your particular wording, just know that we did bring it up.
So, but I'm curious, any other more questions that are there? And I'm also curious, does this format work for you guys? I see nodding heads.
We would like to do more of this.
Yeah. Yeah, cool.
So
there's silence, no questions.
we should unmute them all.
They can unmute when Cool. And we will, any more final thoughts? Ponderings, wanderings?
I think that's it.
Yeah. I
Thank
think that's
you.
You're welcome.
You're
Thanks
welcome.
for being here.
We'll send out a download email, and maybe we have some more ponderings and wanderings, and give you some tools in that room to move on that. And we thought we would like to do that again. So the next Fireside chat will be on Monday, December 3 at 7:00.
So we're just, it's not always going to be, it's gypsy style, kind of when we feel the energy calling, we're going to just throw one in. So December 3 at 7:00 is a Monday next time. So
I'm curious what it will be. So,
and we're always welcome your thoughts on, if you want to email us with any thoughts, further thoughts or questions, please do let us know. And then we can bring it up to the next one, or it's just helpful for us to know if we're making a connection with you.
And if you would like more individual support, we do offer individual sessions, and we also do offer small groups. So if there are people interested to dive deeper into that, we would be absolutely happy to create a small group with that. But again, we're really looking into not going crazy with marketing and all that, but really allowing things to unfold in real time, in the moment, and have that connection with you guys one-on-one, and not just some anonymous drip that drips into your inbox. We want to make it
anonymous drip. It kind of sounds like Hieronymus Bosch. Okay, an artist. Anyways, that's my humor.
Cool. Cool. So trust yourself, enjoy yourself, have fun,
and do something nice for your bodies.
Mm-hmm.
Move them, breathe,
eat in the way and what you love.
Yeah.
If people tell you eating when you're standing on your head doesn't work, and that's your favorite way to eat,
go for it.
Yes, go for it.
Exactly.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Bye.